All right, we are recording for. I'm pretty sure it is Horseman number one, but technically, actually, you know what? I do know a way to check. I'll explain why I'm not complete. No, it is Horseman number one. Okay. Yeah, written by Chuck Dixon, Joe Bennett, artist, Fabio Jensen, inker, J. Brown, colorist. The reason why I'm not sure if this is technically Horseman number one is as a reference to Horseman number three being worked on here. So it's like maybe that means that Horseman number two was already finished at the time this was written. Could be, well, at least written. There'd still be all the associated work with it. I do not know if Horseman number two has actually been published. Not necessarily sure how much I care one way or the other. That's just, I mean, I know I've got more to go through, but I've not been sufficiently impressed thus far, at least with how the stories in Omnibus have been going to make me potentially want to get more. But I mean, hey, maybe my mind will change as I keep going. We'll see. But let me actually read the introduction here. Hector Lee Caballero has been forced to hang up his horseman armor after a run-in with the Alpha Corps. They gave him a pass for his past actions on the one condition that he gives up the vigilante life and gets a normal job. Hector had returned from war and used the identity of the horseman to continue to serve his country, protecting innocents while honoring his fallen friends, keeping their memory alive. However, walking the straight and narrow is much more easily said than done, and the horseman is about to meet his biggest fan, who makes him an offer he just can't refuse. Yeah, kind of generic. Yeah. I mean, a lot of this story is also kind of generic, which isn't necessarily bad. It did at times feel like it was generic, though. And that's important. That when it starts feeling that way, I don't remember which one it was where I went off about when it just started rambling and ranting about how, yes, there are stories that are definitely recognizable, but as other stories, but that's not a problem if they're still told well, because then maybe you pick up on the cues, maybe you don't, but it's like, no, I'm enjoying it, it's fine. It is touching on at least feeling, nah, this is actually generic. It's touching there. It's not that. It isn't generic, but it does kind of touch there. Anyway, the letter, so that introduction is kind of generic. The letter here is also a little generic. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad letter, don't get me wrong, but it is, basically how, now that they're, continuing to work on this, after Welcome to Forest Park, now to Horseman number one, going to start exploring more of the characters, sharing more of the character with the reader. Does also mention that, hey, I'm liking this, and Chuck Dixon was basically describing is that when he likes something, he gets, teeth and claws into it, doesn't let go, and he uses the example that he has 100+ issue run on Robin as evidence of that. And he's already working on Horseman number 3, and that's the letter that was included with Horseman number 1. So Horseman number 2, presumably then he already wrote, and I have no idea where it would be in the pipeline. Alright, so getting to the story itself, it starts with a flashback to Mosul, just Mosul years ago. So we get to meet the others of his squad, the four horsemen, who are Rick, Deacon, and Speed. Does mention that they were given that name; they did not pick it themselves. They went through Ranger School together, and then were picked to join a hunter-killer team. It was all need-to-know spy stuff, right? Only what it got down to was gunfighting, which I don't know a great deal about Army Rangers and where they fit in with Special Forces. Although I'm also now remembering like an old movie from World War II, but concerning World War II, that it might also just be that the Rangers were not necessarily at that time the military spies. At this point in time, I can definitely believe that they would be, but they were more so like trained all of them to be commandos at that time. But maybe what I'm actually thinking of was just the origin of basically actual commando battalions, or I guess brigade, because the thing was the Devil's Brigade. Anyway, but anyhow, basically what it's setting up here is that all of them really, but he's the only one that's still alive. He liked it. He liked the work and the whole I mean, we were making a difference, right? Making the world a safer place, one raghead at a time. And it's just like, yeah, and he's a veteran. He's still wired for that kind of work, which the Horseman was satisfying that wiring when he was doing that. He's now had to put that down, and I guess the way to put it is he's not really domesticated yet. That the switch wants to flip back onto that wiring, and it's a struggle for him because he isn't finding that satisfaction of being able to go out and apply those skills to make a difference like he had been. We get here, Deacon died to an IED. Speed went down with a chopper full of Green Berets. And then this, it was Christmas when Rick bought it. I don't like thinking about that one. And the image does kind of suggest he died at home. But it being described as when Rick bought it, I'm guessing that this could be that he committed suicide after getting home. Which is definitely a sad but very real thing. One thing, though, I don't feel like looking it up, because I could be wrong on this, I might not be, that I'm pretty sure I'd seen it mentioned that it's actually a myth that suicides go up at holidays. That there is actually no statistically, like the statistics doesn't show anything higher there compared to any other time of the year. I get how it makes sense, it sounds reasonable that, if it's somebody who doesn't have family, that then they're more likely to commit suicide because, they're all alone. That is reasonable, but on the other hand, you can still have friends. How many people are truly without any other connections, and how many of those people that don't have family, don't have friends, who no one there, also are not comfortable being alone? Because some people, no, they like being alone. They would choose to be alone. So it's like, it's more so if they were being forced to being around family that they'd be uncomfortable. But anyhow. I guess to help explain that is just the idea that just being alone, having no one around you physically, is going to lead to greater depression. That would be true of somebody who wants to have the people physically around them. But there are people who don't either want that or just don't need it. So it is kind of if it is a myth, and I think I have heard it is, I just don't remember. Don't remember what the actual statistics are. But it is one of those, it sounds reasonable if you go with that assumption that everyone wants that kind of physical presence. If they don't want it, then that assumption falls apart, which means then so does potentially the reasoning that supports the potential myth. Anyway, getting back to this, he's in therapy, and is basically talking about how, I keep wanting everything to go back to the way it was. Even the bad days then were better than the good days now, and it's for more than one reason. One that's definitely voiced in here, not just on these pages, but a little later, is just the boredom. That he doesn't know what to do with himself. He doesn't know what is useful, was a good way to put his skills to use, how to make sure that what he's doing is valuable, things like that. He does also mention, though, that one thing that helps is, he started journaling, which then doesn't come up later, I do want to mention. Although, I guess technically you might say in the after-action reports that he's been doing, those are the journals, but, and the funny thing is, actually, that I could see being a helpful thing for some veterans, that if they were somebody that had to do the after-action reports, then they'll just keep doing that, and it's basically journaling, and try to... Well, actually, no, you don't even need to, because I would assume that the after-action reports, they're intended to be very technical. But it's like, and I was tempted to say something along the lines of, you can stop doing that, but then it's like, wait, why? There's no reason that you have to stop being technical there. You can keep it perfectly technical. Nothing wrong with that at all. But, doing that and just having it be about your normal day-to-day, I could see that actually helping for a bridge. To help you domesticate. That it's no longer about the specific actions, but, just describing the stuff, putting more I don't know how much emotion would be in after action report, but trying to make it more a personal journal than a very descriptive report, so somebody can read that and ascertain what happened. Anyway, he also runs. He feels better when running, but it stops helping when he stops running. Just unfortunate. I know, I keep doing these asides, but another one is I'm pretty sure I had seen or heard something that running does actually trigger a release of endorphins. Pretty sure it's endorphins. But does do that such that what he's describing there, yeah, I mean, it is just running does it. It's not something special to him, but it is still, that would be something that you can, it makes sense that would help him and other people as well. The doctor is going to prescribe for him some prescriptions. Yep, that's a sentence, I poorly constructed sentence I said. But he refuses it because I'd rather feel bad than feel nothing. Then we see him going on a run, but as he's going, he hears some people saying, help me, he's going to kill me. So he's in the suburbs, and he just, rushes over, smashes through a fence, a wooden fence, to find that it's just like a backyard barbecue with the two kids with super soakers. So it's, yeah. But, I mean, it is you can see that, and it's... Sorry, I'm just... No, there is another person here. But, yeah, it is innocuous, but it's also one of those things where it's like, yep, that just happened. But everyone's okay. It's okay. I'll help you fix it. Don't even worry about it. I think a situation like that, especially, if you could talk to him and find out what's going on, it's like, I got a steak here. Want one? I mean, it's like, just come on over. Because, I mean, there's no reason to make a big deal out of that. The fence can definitely be fixed. The guy's reaction is not unreasonable. It's just exaggerated because of what his background is. And it's like, okay, yeah. Can relax and go forward with that. Mention some other things that he's tried, like going biking with Danny, it seems. But it's like, I used to enjoy biking when I was 10. Tried out golf, but he doesn't have the temper for that, including miniature golf. When, he kind of said some things with Danny around that Patty's not too happy about. And explains that we have every parental lock in creation on the computer. We don't subscribe to any streaming services. I check ratings on every movie, TV show, and comic book that comes into this house. And one trip to Putt Putt Island turns into an R-rated movie. Yeah. And, I mean, good for Patty, but I would also say it's like, okay, you're checking the ratings. That's fine. You should also be watching the stuff first. I'm sorry, but I mean, I got my movie and television collection here. All of it. I want to be able to share with people, okay? I legitimately do. But also there's a certain reality with some of these. Where it's like, yeah, that's an R. It's not really that bad an R. Like, I mean, yeah, we can watch that when you're younger. There's also some that aren't rated at all. Because they're old enough. And it's like, I got one here. I love the movie. It's such a good, excellent movie. The Apartment from 1960, I believe it is. Such a good movie. It is unrated. I would not, because of the seriousness, the maturity of a lot of what goes on, that I'm not sure. I mean, that I would probably, content-wise, I could see it being like PG if you were to just try to rate it now. But as far as what's actually going on there, to comprehend it, that's probably teenagers. And I don't just mean like PG-13. You might need to be a little bit older than that. So it's like, yeah, just going by the ratings isn't good enough. Which, I mean, fortunately, MPAA tends to also have descriptors, so you can look into that. IMDb, actually, if you look there, people do contribute specifics to the ratings, so you can go through that. But I would also watch it. Just, if it's a movie, watch the movie. Watch the movie first, then decide if it's something you want your kid to see. And that's for multiple reasons. I mean, obviously, it's hard to do for a brand new movie, but that, again, you can look into other things to determine if it's appropriate. But it's also, I say, watch it first, because that way when you watch with the kid, it's not just we're watching a movie. It's you're sharing it with them. It is a more intentional action there. It's also, like, true, my point of view, everything in my collection, with, like, I'm not even sure if it's 5 things I haven't seen. There's The Invisible Boy that was an extra with Forbidden Planet. There's Rocky 5 and Rocky Balboa down there that I've not watched. Just I don't really care. They're just in the set. I think I may have watched everything else. I don't quite remember. But those are the only ones that come to mind as, yes, I've not actually watched them. Oh, well, I'm not including, because I've also just got a bunch of movies I haven't watched through yet. But it's like, that's just, I haven't watched through them yet. I'm going to, though. But that's different. Because it's legitimately, I got those very recently. But everything else, like, no, not watch that. So it's like, can I watch this? It's like, let me see, kid. Yeah, you can watch it. That's fine. This one, no. No, you gotta wait in this one. And it would be you have to wait. So, anyhow. But it's still good on her for policing the content. A parent should be doing that. Don't just trust the ratings. That's my opinion. You should watch this stuff and decide for yourself what is appropriate for your child and when it is appropriate. Because you might also be, for some stuff, no, it's just not appropriate at all. Because you might be like, I hate that. I don't want to share it at all. But other stuff where it's no, this is appropriate. It's just at what time, at what age. So anyway, we then see that, he is working at Unipack, so basically a shipping company. It's kind of funny, though, because he did put in he wants to be a driver, but his boss is like, no, we'd need a forklift to replace you. I can't let you be a driver, which he doesn't like, because that means he's just stuck in the same 4 walls all day. But it's, I don't know, I still feel a situation like that, Hector should at least try pushing, can you give me a raise to that of the driver? I mean, it's like, if you're saying that I can't go to a better job in the company, that I can't, change positions and get a raise, I'm assuming he comes with a raise, and get a raise there because I'm just so valuable here, that means I'm valuable enough for the money. Or actually, no, it's not even that. It's I'm more valuable than that, because you are saying that I'm better here than there. Give me the raise. Because, I mean, if nothing else, pushing like that, it's an argument that either you just let me do that other thing that I want to do, or, yeah, just make it more worth my time to stay here. Anyway, we then see that despite him having promised, he promised to, in the previous story, he promised to not to give up being the Horseman. Fine. But apparently he also promised to Patty to throw the stuff away. Or at least he said that he'd thrown it all away, but he didn't. He still kept it all, which, I mean, that's fine. Maybe that's too masculine a response, but it's like, no, I mean, it's fine that you keep it, but you can't use it, because, I mean, it's like, it needs to be put away, though. Like, that needs to be part of your past. But, I mean, yeah, if you want to keep it, I don't see a reason not to. But it needs to be in the past. But Danny catches him with it. And, I mean, the kid isn't stupid. He basically blackmails him. That, it's like, hey, my mom's gonna be busy all weekend. There's this movie in theaters I'd like to see. Especially because I don't want to be the last kid to see it. Everyone in my class. And it's like, hold on, is this like blackmail? More like a negotiation. It's like, good on you, kid. Because there's also an element there with, going back to the movies. Because, I mean, what was it? Grinder Groundhogs movie. It's like, I have no idea what is going on there, but it's just, I'm assuming it could be very violent. And it's like, there are times when it's like, you know what? Yeah, this movie, it isn't really appropriate for you. Like, they would say it's not really age appropriate, but you know what? That's a good movie. We can watch it. There are times for that. There are times to, you know, like bend the rule because, you know, maybe as a reward, you know, something like that to just. But it's also saying, yeah, yes, I value this. This is important. That's why I'm sharing it with you. So I'm just thinking, like, I got Alien here. I love that movie. It's such a good movie. It's R. I would not want to necessarily wait until the kid is 18 to share that. It's such a good movie. But I understand why it's R. And it's like, you know, you got to appreciate that. Appreciate the state of the child. It's like, okay, can do that sooner. And it can be, you know, you're bending the rules. And that's, in a way, you're using that to help with a connection there and help express the value of this. That, yes, those rules are very important. We're keeping to them. But this is important enough. We can bend it a little bit. But you need to be careful. You're not breaking the rule. You're bending. Anyway. By the way, just in case anyone's curious, no, I don't have any kids. I don't even have friends that I get to share these movies with. It really sucks. But still, this is my current thinking. It would change if my situation would change. So anyway, Hector's driving home and sees a billboard. Are you the Horseman? Text yes to and a number. And he actually does. And even as it's putting in, you know, how it's written here, his inner monologue is basically, I'm just so bored that, yeah, I'll do it. Even though it's now he's going to try to keep a secret, keep things secret. And it's like, dude, you were putting in like no effort in that in the first one. I'm glad you finally figured out that, hey, you need to. But the plan is to meet at the bowling alley that previous story ended at. He does go in his car because, yes, obviously, identify yourself with your car. Again, that's a wonderful idea. Let's keep doing that. But he does at least put on the armor, including the mask. So, I mean, true. That's a good way to make sure that you are clearly identified, that you are the Horseman, no one else is. And also it hides his identity. Now, why no one else has texted into the guy, yes, claiming to be the Horseman. Why the police aren't involved? Because it's like, you know, you'd think Alpha Core would be like, somebody's trying to find him. We told him not to be the Horseman. Let's check in on this, because we really don't want him becoming the Horseman again. I mean, it's like if Superman were to say to Batman, hang it up, and then suddenly ignites the bat signal. Superman has to come and investigate this, okay? And it's like, it's not even like they're in a different, it's not like, you know, Superman's in Metropolis, Batman's in Gotham. No, they're both in the same damn city. Alpha Corps is in this city. They would know about these signs, and yet they do nothing. I mean, fine, you don't know where this is, but you still know who the Horseman is. You go and find him, and you're like, what's up with this? Or you find out who bought the billboards. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? We told him no. We told him to stop. And he's respecting that. He needs to respect that. You need to respect that he's respecting that. That's what should be going on here. But it doesn't. Because people are stupid. Anyway, we end up meeting this guy, Cal Buxton. Although later he says, call me Rex. I don't know why. But basically, he's rich. And is going to start throwing around his money because he wants the Horseman to help him with some stuff. I don't trust the guy. Because basically, yeah, he's rich from, you know, all these different things. But he talks about how, hey, you taking down Tuna and his drug network, that made Flores Park a safer place. And, you know, I work here. I live here. I like this safety. But cartels and mobs are rushing to fill the vacancy. By the time Flores Park PD figures out, the bosses will take root. Of course, one issue with that is, actually, there's more than one issue, I think. But one is, chances are there would be people already rooted there. So it's not like you'd, it's not like they wouldn't already have, it's not like they're putting down roots. No, they'd like to be there. There's also, Tuna was killed by this Michael and Lillian, who I would think they're moving in themselves. So it's like he would have been like immediately replaced, I would think. But I don't know, because their interest previously had been to like buy Darren's club because of the access they would give him. They're not killing to just get rid of people. No, they're doing things to move in. So that seems odd. But anyway, it's basically, look, I got the money, I got property. You can set up a hidden base on any of my properties, and I just won't know. Somehow, I don't trust that. But it's like, I can just give you money for whatever you need, for whatever you want. It can be in cash, so there's no connection. Which, again, is not entirely true, because he's rich enough. However he's getting the cash, it's very reasonable that there are records of those serial numbers, and so they will be able to track it back to him. I'm just saying, tracking this stuff is a lot easier than you may think. Okay? I get the whole cryptocurrency, that both does and does not make it easier to track. Cryptocurrency is weird, because it's like the whole, oh, well, with cryptocurrency, it can't be tracked. It's like literally the thing that's being put onto the blockchain that, yeah, it's encrypted, but still, that's being put onto the blockchain is what? A ledger of every single transaction. How you can still have anonymity with those, by the way, and I don't even have any, but although the Rumble Wallet one does seem interesting. I will look into that at some point more so in the future, but for now, no, don't have any, don't need it. Part of what you can do to achieve better anonymity with a cryptocurrency wallet, or with using cryptocurrency, is you can just make a new wallet each time. And so you move it, and the wallets don't necessarily track back, or they're single use. You only use them once and move on. So it's like that can help confuse it, because the wallet is a string of numbers. It's not a name. So that can still give you that anonymity. But technically it is, if that encryption is ever broken, it's like, yeah, we know every single transaction that has ever been made with with Bitcoin. It is just funny to me how people are like, oh, but it's anonymous. It's like the nature of it is to track every transaction. It would be like if we actually tracked the movement of every dollar in the United States by its serial number. Anyway, when Horseman, because he refuses, because like, nope, I gave this up, I made promises, I'm keeping them. When he goes back to his car, there's a duffel bag on there with, he speculates, could be $1 million, which how the hell he's going to explain that to Patty or anything or anyone else is unknown. But then we get that Buxton is like, well, we're just going to have to, money isn't enough. We're going to have to do something else to get him to do this, appeal to his precious principles, because he's principled. That's why he's saying no. But what then ends up getting him, because this is supposed to be like, hours later, if that, a neighbor, a 15-year-old? 15, died because she took Adderall to try to help her focus and stay up while working on the, does it say it's the PSATs or just, yeah, pre-SATs? And it's funny because like I'll see stuff talking about this, and it's like the kind of studying that allows you to do isn't even good studying. Like it's much better to study with the goal of attaining comprehension instead of just memorization. That kind of studying is more about the memorization than comprehension, so it's actually not helping you in the long run. But anyhow, the Adderall had fentanyl in there, so she died of an overdose. And this is enough because it's hey, if he's back on the streets, he's taking people out that are selling the laced Adderall. So then it's like, all right, can take you up on the deal. I need a place. It's like, I got properties all over Flores Park. Pick one. You didn't even tell me which one. Pick it. It's yours. I'm not going to know. It's like, you don't have security across all your properties. You're that rich that you have all these properties, but you don't have security. No. I'm sorry. It's just one of those, this is stupid. It's not like it's Bruce Wayne that could own things by various shell companies such that maybe there is a dock that people don't realize is his. There's no indication of that here. And it's it's not a shell company of shell company of shell company kind of thing. It's just now I own the property and you can use any of them. It's like, come on. And it is also, docks do have security. It might be the larger full dock security, but still, I mean, things would be known. But yeah, it's like, fine, you can have a place, so you've got your hidden base. Here's all the money you can possibly need to put this stuff together. And he gets a Humvee that he definitely makes some changes to. Puts in quite a powerful engine, it looks like. Although, one thing, I don't remember. Does a Humvee actually use a conventional engine? Because I know, like, the M1 Abrams, that's a turbine that they use there for the power plant. I feel like maybe it's just some variants of the Humvee is also like a turbine. I don't remember. Just to quickly explain, turbine engines, yes, they can be tricky, yes, there actually are some cars that weren't built to be turbines, and they can be profoundly efficient and powerful. But it is specialized equipment, which makes it harder to build, harder to work with, things like that. But no, it's really neat. And if you ever watch Knight Rider, the cannon for Kit it's a turbine engine. That's why it has the sound that it does, and also there are mentions of it at other points. Another advantage with a turbine engine is, in some cases at least, you can design it, and there are conventional internal combustion engines that can do this as well. A turbine engine can potentially work on a far greater range of fuels. So, yeah, it does depend, though. It does depend. But you can... I think it might be a little easier with some of that than... Like, it might be easier to go to just using an alcohol if that's all you have, than certainly with a traditional internal combustion. But anyhow, again, I'm just going off on a random aside. He is rigging that up, is given a location, and by the way, his work is also starting to suffer from the whole... So he's falling asleep at times because he's up all night working on this stuff, but he is given some intel about a buy, goes to investigate, and he is all ready to jump in, but he waits because some buzz from my lizard brain makes me hold up. Good thing he did. Because, well, he also made one critical mistake here, which is that he's just seeing money changing hands, and it's like, yep, this is something bad is going down here, so I'm just going to smash in. I'm not going to investigate to find out what is going on, what the goods are, which is a bad idea, but it's also a good thing he waited because Alpha Corps shows up. So the police also had the information at the same time. I'm going to act on also had the same information and acted at the same time. And Hector sticks around long enough to see that, oh, this wasn't drugs. This was human trafficking. Truck full of young women and girls who, even he points out, and they weren't being bought for waiting tables. And points out that it's a good thing he didn't get involved because Horseman is sufficiently violent that, bullets would be flying around and, they likely would have been seriously injured. So yeah, he just calls up Buxton and is like, look, that went, it went sideways, ass backwards, and all to hell. Technically, no, because Alpha Corps did do everything appropriately and successfully, but it's still, his point is very valid that, we can't have this happen again, and that if you can't get this straight, I'm never doing this again, and I'm keeping everything. And it's like, I mean, that's fair. But, so then Buxton talks to his people and basically is like, look, we need to make sure that, our intel is better than the cops, or at least faster. And they come up with an idea. What they end up showing, I actually rather dislike. Also, I should mention this. Because this, I'm certain, is some kind of setup, because Patty is teasing Hector a little bit about him being always tired and all that. But, you're going out on dates or something? What? It's like, yeah, dates. And all that. And he's no. But she also mentions that she is seeing somebody, and it's like, who? When do I get to meet him? It's like, I'm not telling you. That's not going to happen. Why not? It's like, well, I don't want Danny getting, connected to somebody when it might just be a casual dating. It's like, okay, fine, that's Danny. What about me? I'm your brother. It's like, you can't keep a secret. I mean, he did for a while, but, I mean, it's kind of fair. I think that there would also be the whole element of, because I don't want you, like, if he does something that upsets me, that's not actually a big deal, just that I don't want you hunting the man down. Because, I mean, there is also the element of, you're my big brother, Army Ranger veteran, formerly superhero type guy who went around beating the crap out of people every night. Maybe I want to keep my boyfriend safe. That's fair. But we then get to what Buxton's people are doing that I don't like this, which is, so one of his people managed to get into the database for the police's CIs, confidential informants, and is like, well, we'll just start buying them off ourselves. And, okay, I can understand that. It's not really a good idea, but I can understand that. Because, I mean, what's to stop a CI from turning you in? But, yeah, what do I tell them? Whatever you want, as long as it's not the same as the intel you sell us. That I don't like. That they are straight up saying, obstruct the police. Just give us the intel, obstruct the police. There is nothing appropriate about that. If it were instead look, just give us the same information at the same time, or give it to us earlier. It's like, whatever. That I'd be okay with, because it's like, let's be real. If it's it's like, oh, you're getting this information, it's going to buy at that time, whatever. It's like, maybe the police are able to cut through all the regulations and such. Or it's you know what? Horseman is going to hit people before the buy. I mean, you can still be faster than the police and on acting here. That's fine. That's definitely achievable. Lying to the police, not a good setup here. Okay, it really, really makes it seem more like Buxton is one of these mob guys, and he just wants to use Horseman to eliminate his competition. It just... Because, in theory, he should also have the money to just start donating to Alpha Corps or something to help them do stuff. Donating to police to help take care of this stuff. But no, he's going outside the law for all this. That's... A vigilante, by definition, is also a criminal. Right? It might be you might be able to justify it, but it's still, that's a criminal activity. Buxton is also a criminal by what he's doing as well. So, kind of need to stop and think about that and make sure you know the motivations with these people, Hector. But he's not necessarily thinking about that. He's thinking more about, okay, how do I get stuff done? How do I satisfy that wiring, as I was putting it earlier? Well, he gets a new location. This one's outside of Flores Park, outside the county, which means that Alpha Corps doesn't have jurisdiction there. You got 2 people there that can fly. They need jurisdiction? I'm sorry, it's just one of those, do you really tell Superman you're out of your jurisdiction? Even if they are police. And so it's like, yeah, but it's the jurisdiction to arrest. It's not necessarily a jurisdiction to, hey, you're committing a crime. I'm going to break your legs. It's not exactly that kind of jurisdiction, okay? I mean, it's like, you can just... I mean, true, breaking the legs, not exactly. But, I mean, I hope you know what I mean. That's like, if he's going there, if Superman goes somewhere and stops a crime, it doesn't matter if he doesn't have jurisdiction to arrest the people. He can still stop the crime, just like anyone. What are you talking about? Quite annoying to me. So he gets to this site. It is like a big drug lab and all that, and the story just ends there. With him busting in, and it's still like, stuff is happening, stuff is going on, and it's like, nope, we're just done now. See what happens, see how it ends in Horseman number 2. And it's like, actually, wait, does it say Horseman number 2 there? Let me just check. Yes, to be continued, Horseman number 2. So in theory, Horseman number 2 was already written at the time that letter for this one was written, because it mentions Horseman number 3. But yeah, I never like stories that end like that, okay? I really, really don't. Because it's like, so the story's not done. Why did you not finish the story? As Empire Strikes Back, that does, the story there is done. Yes, there is, the next story is very clearly set up. They have to get the rebellion back together, and they have to rescue Han. That's set up. But the story the story for The Empire Strikes Back has ended. The rest of it is the next story. That's fine. I don't have any issue with that. But it's like The Matrix 2 and 3. That's a single story. And they just arbitrarily cut it there, because like, oh, well, if we cut it here, then people have to come back to finish the story. It's like, tell me a good story and I'll come back. And I'll keep coming back. It's like, why do people want to watch The Matrix 2? Because The Matrix 1 was a good story, good movie. People wanted to watch it. So it's like, oh, there's a sequel. Yes, I want to come and see that. You don't have to force us to. You don't have to leave us at a cliffhanger like that. Let the story end. If it was good, they will come back. If not, well, then at least they have the complete story. See, I hate it when they do that. Because then it's also, you get stuff like this. It's an omnibus, but it doesn't have the complete story there. And I can't expect that to be finished up by any of what comes. So yeah, I don't consider that a pet peeve, by the way. Because no, this is more significant than a pet peeve, okay? It's like, objectively, this pisses me off, and I think it should piss off everyone. To the point that I do not comprehend why people think it's okay to do that. I really don't. Which also does remind me of one thing. If anyone wants to try citing like the Lord of the Rings trilogy for the movies, just want to point this out. Tolkien wrote it as a single book. Okay? It being separated into smaller books was not him. Initially, it was his publisher. It being separated into a trilogy of movies, that is probably just for convenience, because that would be a 6-7 hour movie to have it all in there. It's like, okay, yeah, I can respect that. Separating it there and doing your best to divide it, but it is the original story is actually one book. So yeah. So I put this down as just a 0, straight fail to recommend. Because it is functional, but it's kind of generic. It's like, oh, somebody's just going to give you a reason to get back into this. It's like, and what's that going to be? Well, a kid dying. It's like, yeah, that's good for plenty of people. And it's also your neighbor. So yeah, again, good for plenty of people to be like, you know what? Save the kids. I'll do it. I just had a funny thought cross my mind. Is that a missed opportunity? Unfortunately, I could not write it because I don't have enough knowledge, and I got enough other stories I want to write. But I'm going to say this for anyone interested in writing a story that may have the knowledge, or it's just that could work. Hector is a former army ranger. There we go. Not that long ago, we had the downed pilot in Iran that we went in and got out. I can't remember the name of it, but we do have a team in the military. I don't remember what branch. That the motto is basically so others might live, meaning that these are people that understand that when they go in to rescue somebody, they might be left behind. They might die and not be coming home, but they accept that. That is their role. These are amazing men and women, okay? Just, it seems like a missed opportunity for superhero stories. Like, Hector becoming it's like, wait, so we already have a group of people in the military that would eventually become veterans, it's like would retire, who they already have fully that mindset of they might die, so others might live. That seems a bit better to work with than Rangers. No offense to the Rangers at all. I'm just like, that kind of mentality, it's like, that's where you're coming from. That I could see being more interesting than just, yes, I have the skills for this job like Hector does, but just to save somebody, I will walk through fire. Absolutely, not even a problem. It's that I'm wired for that. It's like, that could be so interesting. That really could be, because it's also the kind of will that you have to have, I think, to fully have that mindset. I already believe that mindset is something that many first responders, I would take it as all first responders and everyone in the military already have the mindset of accepting that they may die, but if their death means somebody else goes home, that they're okay with that. But that might be a more, I'm not planning to die. I don't expect that, but I'm ready for it. Versus no, I'm taking the missions that I'm going in so someone else will live, and I know I might die. It's like, it's just to a greater degree, and it's just one of those that you'd think that would be a good basis for Batman vigilante type superheroes. But I don't know of any with that background. And I guess it's just maybe we don't know. I'm sorry, my nose is just itching. Maybe it's just like I don't know enough comic book characters, or maybe it's that this group, they don't get enough, there isn't enough awareness of them. Possibly because, it's like, the Rangers, the SEALs, Delta Force, groups like that are, there's special forces, and you think, hey, special forces, that's awesome. You think about that. It's like, or you think SWAT for police. You don't necessarily think the beat cop. But, they don't necessarily get the attention, but yeah, as I said, I don't have any stories that they could work for that I could use that in, but that I think could be really fascinating to have somebody with that's their mindset. Anyway, coming back to this. So yeah, it does feel kind of generic, and in a way, somebody with that mindset would potentially be less generic, if only because you've not. I can't think of any time that story's been told. At least in that way. But anyhow, it's like, yeah, I had to give it up, but I'm given a reason, so I guess I'll get back involved with it again. Somebody's helping me, okay, but hey, has to be on my terms. It's like, hey, you almost screwed up, so now it's like I have to reiterate my terms here because I will leave. It's like, yeah, okay, what's novel here? What's original? What is unique here that makes me interested? What makes this connect with me? I got nothing. I really don't. I like Welcome to Flores Park better. That still has various issues to it, but that's more so it has a bunch of technical issues. This, it's kind of generic. It's how is this different from other people's stories? I don't see it. So yeah, just a straight fail. I would recommend. It's not bad, but it's not good. I wouldn't say, hey, you got to read it. Would not say that at all. Yeah. All right. Next, it will be Catch and Kill, which I do want to check, because that's out of a Rippaverse, so that should actually be shorter. I just want to see about how long to help have an idea on that. Oh yeah, it's quite short. Like, I believe that's 15 pages, like the Saints and Sinners stories were. Then we get Alpha Core, which I am definitely looking forward to because of just the whole. And I've mentioned this in the previous one. I just feel like it's possible that a lot of the questions that I still have, Alpha Core may answer. Things like, what is Ingrid's actual powers? She has these green glowing whip things, but that could just be technology. That doesn't have to be any kind of superpower. Solari can fly. In the Great War of Separation, he just had super strength. How did he learn to fly? Maybe that'll be answered now, even though Great War of Separation was released second. Was released later, I believe. So it's like, may still get some background on him. Like how he has his powers. And Braxwell is like some more stuff there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. There is also, because then it's Bloodruth and Dirty Deeds, which here, let me actually to try to flip through. I wouldn't think Bloodruth. And just the flipping through, I'm not seeing it there. Doesn't look like Dirty Deeds either. Okay. Just how there was the mention of okay, that's just way back with Zaylin, there was the mention at the end of, hey, you got a mission that's basically going to take you to Earth to find this escaped convict. Zaylin hasn't existed after that, except for one of the Yairas. There was a mention about Zaylin interfering. It's like, what? No, it had to have been Yaira 3, because it's actually with the it was the Magi that were complaining. So it had to have been in Yaira 3, but it's like, yeah, if Zaylin had interfered. When was that? What interference are you talking about? And it's just... But one thing also a little annoying is that, as I'm looking at this, that there's a Rippaverse number 3 regular edition cover that shows Zaylin, Solari from like Great War of Separation, and a woman here that I don't recognize at all. Maybe I just haven't gotten to her yet. Maybe she's something else entirely. But it's like, it's suggesting Zaylin and Solari together. So does that mean that there were other stories that just weren't being included in the omnibus? Because if that's the case, that really pisses me off. Because like part of the reason that I bought this was and I've said this many times before, that it's like I've been hearing Rippaverse stuff talked about and background noise I listened to while working for years. I'm not a comic book guy. I don't want to buy just one and then not have a complete story. Like Horseman number 1 isn't a complete story. It's like, don't want that. I want to know what the next story is and have questions answered and all that. So it's like, omnibus, perfect. I'll just order this. But then it's like, well, wait a minute. You're setting stuff up that isn't paid off because apparently you didn't get to it in the 3 years, or are you actually just not including it? Like, is that story with Zaylin actually in a Rippaverse that they didn't include in this? And then it becomes like, well, then how's it an omnibus? How's it actually including everything? I don't know. Maybe it's also just that was the cover art that somebody did because it would be neat. Could be. Because it's also, I don't know, because I don't know with the Rippaverse how much of it is, because I would think that a Rippaverse is, some of it is comics, but some of it is just articles in there talking about stuff. So yeah, I don't quite know how the breakdown would be there, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I already said earlier in this video that I'm not feeling a sufficient connection with all these to want to necessarily get more Rippaverse stuff. Not much time left for that opinion of mine to change. Which is disappointing, but is what it is. One thing though I will mention, however, because it's, hey, I'm not stupid. I know other people can have opinions other than mine. But I did see the news that they have started a second chance campaign for the omnibus. So the same thing as this. That ends on June 5th, 2026. So even though I'm not necessarily the happiest with this, maybe you do like it. Maybe you're curious. And hey, I know I'm not. There's certainly plenty of other people out there that clearly love it, that the company keeps going. Good. And I'm happy for that. I'm glad about that. That doesn't mean I have to like the stories in here. But if other people like it, great. I want them to have a successful business. I genuinely and sincerely do mean that. So it's like, hey, if this is something you're interested in, go to Rippaverse and look up the omnibus, and hopefully you'll find it quickly. Which I will also mention, I did reach out to them about the swapped pages in the... Yeah, that was the Iowa 3. They had the swapped pages. Because my brother has... I don't remember if I mentioned this or not. I did ask my brother to show me his Iowa 3 and did compare it and see that, yes, the mistake is in this. It's not in the original. Reach out to Rippaverse, let them know about that. And they... The funny thing is, that was literally last week, and then thing about them starting up that omnibus was like within 7 days then. But basically saying that if they do another printing, they will make sure that's fixed. So, yeah, it didn't say anything as far as like, well, that they would do another printing, just say if we do, it's like, okay, yeah. But, no indication as to like if other people had brought it up or not. Which I am a little curious about, but I'm not even sure how I would find that, because I did try to search for that at one point. Maybe my search terms weren't specific enough, but I was just getting like terms for everything else. Because it's not like I've got a page number. It's not like I can look up, hey, did anyone else knows that pages 21 and 22 are swapped in the Iowa 3 of the omnibus? It's like I can't do that because we don't have page numbers. So anyway, enough of my rambling. No matter what my opinion is, if you think that this is interesting, if you're in, and you want this, look it up. You got until June 6th to be able to order a copy. All right. Well, another copy, because they are doing a second chance. Second chance one. Just one thing I do want to mention. It is thick. It is heavy. Like there's a reason why I have to... I don't necessarily like that I'm like this when reading out of it, and so you're seeing the top of my head instead of me. But it's like I'm not holding this up to read. Other books I'll try to hold up, or when it's on an ebook I'll try to hold up so I'm like this, but not for this one. All right. See you next time.